I'm delighted to be here today with Jeff Bakes, who is Head of Total Rewards at IKEA. And we've just spent a bit of time chatting about organizational purpose and responsible reward and so on. And I particularly wanted to have a chat to Jeff this morning about diversity, equality, and inclusion. So, Jeff, what are you doing at IKEA to engage your line managers, your employees, in a culture that focuses on DEI targets?
So in terms of IKEA, one of the challenges we have in addressing this topic is around our sort of heritage, our Scandinavian roots in terms of equality in social fairness. And therefore, for me, the critical thing is to prove it. So at the moment, I'm introduced a sort of a very significant sort of analytical led initiative to basically drill down and say, okay, are we diverse? Are we socially responsible? Do we have, are we a fair and equal employer? Now, the default answer to that would be yes, we are. But for me, the challenge is prove it. So therefore, it's taking that data, having that engaged debate with our managers, our co-workers, and from that, building a cohesive way forward. So for me, it's not accepting the obvious, but actually drilling down into really focusing on what we need to do to change as an organization.
As well as asking for the prove it and show that's actually happening, what are you doing with your either your reward pay or employee benefits to help support that shift and drive that culture in your organization to focus on DEI and inclusion?
Yeah, I mean, equally, as any organization, you traditionally have pay grades and you have benefits linked to grades. What we're effectively doing is sort of, we still have grades, but we're looking seriously at the benefits to sort of what I call declutter and declassify. It's open for all, open for what we call the many. So there's no artificial barriers. We are effectively, as we said, through pandemic, everyone says we're all in this together. So if we're all in this together, we should be then all in this together going forward. So for us, it's sort of taking down those artificial barriers which appear in benefit programs and in sort of trying to de-hierarchize the organization, if you can sort of visualize that to a more holistic approach. So, and that's very difficult for us reward professionals because our upbringing and our sort of go-to position is, let's look at data, let's create boundaries, let's create buckets of pay, buckets of bonus, buckets of everything around benefits. So it's almost counterintuitive because going forward we have to be a one inclusive organization where every voice is equal and equally pay and benefits is completely transparent, and that's our challenge.
And I think you've really hit on a core issue for most people, because I imagine most organizations we know are hierarchical. And as you say, that just goes completely against this new world of equality, transparency, and openness. So there's quite a long way for reward and benefits in many cases to, I think, almost, you and I talked about this earlier, and you've said it there, this it almost fights against each other, where you've got a purpose to be equal, but you've got a structure that goes exactly against that.
Yeah, and I think it's part of the profession. Everyone's upbringing and reward is about analytics, looking at justification, justifying certain positions, etc. And we've now got the challenge to, what? Let's take it to the next stage. Let's create the better, the future of the business, the organization, and equally that has an impact on society. So it's actually taking those core skills, but actually challenging ourselves as professionals, challenging our organization, challenging our colleagues to actually deliver on this sort of promise of what we're trying to do and change. So yeah, there's no magic solution here. It's just going to be hard work. But for me, the core of this still remains analytics, because analytics does show spotlights on areas which we can focus in within an organization of challenge, of opportunity to improve. And it has to be data-led rather than sort of, I call gut instincts. Gut instincts are useful, but to drive change in the boardroom particularly, you need detailed analytics to make these changes actually gain ground and gain momentum.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Chef, because really talking to you today makes me realise just how core reward and benefits, and reward especially, is to drive this change through. So thank you for sharing your thoughts, and definitely food for thought for the reward and benefits community. Thank you.